Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down decades of research from hostage negotiators, psychologists, and top business leaders, and boil it all down into one powerful framework for persuasion. We're building a toolkit you can use in any conversation, from the boardroom all the way to your own living room.
You know the feeling, right? Whether it's asking for a raise, trying to buy a car, or maybe just negotiating a kid's bedtime, we often dread those moments. But why? Well, it's because they feel like these intense battles of will, these contests that we feel like we're probably going to lose.
But what if that's just the completely wrong way to think about it? What if persuasion isn't about winning a fight at all, but about understanding the person sitting across from you? The experts all agree. There are rules to this game. And today, we're going to learn them. So let's dive in.
Okay, so the foundation of all influence, the very base of what we're going to call our persuasion pyramid, is the ability to see the world from their perspective. And you got to do this before you even think about sharing your own. It all starts with listening. This is where most of us get totally stuck. We argue over these rigid positions. Someone says, I need a 10% raise, and boom, we're immediately debating the number. But the real masters of persuasion, they look deeper. They skip right past the what and they dig for the why. Those underlying interests. Is it about feeling valued? Is it about needing security? Understanding that is the key that unlocks the entire conversation.
Former FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss, he calls this tactical empathy. Now, this isn't about being nice or even agreeing with the other person. Nope, it's a strategic tool for understanding. When you can recognize their point of view and say it back to them, like, it sounds like you feel you're being undervalued, it is incredibly disarming. It proves you're listening, and that can shift the entire tone of the discussion.
The goal is simply to make the other person feel felt. And here's the wild part. Research shows that when someone feels truly heard and understood, their actual brain chemistry changes. Their defensive, fight-or-flight reptile brain starts to calm down, and the more collaborative, problem-solving parts of their brain, they take over.
So how do you actually put that into practice, especially when things are tense? Well, Marshall Rosenberg's nonviolent communication gives us a super simple 4-step recipe. You observe without judging. I noticed the report was submitted after the deadline. You state a feeling, and I feel concerned. You connect that to a need, because accuracy is critical for the team. And then you make a request. Next time, could we check in a day before it's due? You see? It transforms what could be a confrontation into a collaborative request.
Okay, so you've built the foundation. You're listening. Now we're moving to the next level of the pyramid, the reframe. This is where you don't just present your idea, you actually change the way they see their own problem, which makes them eager to hear your solution.
So how do you craft a reframe that actually sticks? Researchers Chip and Dan Heath, they pretty much cracked the code. Think about JFK's call to put a man on the moon. It's simple, it's concrete, you can picture it, it was completely unexpected, it was credible because, hey, the president said it, and it was emotional and told a great story of American ambition. For your reframe to work, it has to tap into these same qualities.
The Challenger sale model gives us a really powerful strategy for this, and it's called commercial teaching. So instead of solving a problem they already know they have, you teach them about a problem or an opportunity they didn't even know they had. You bring them a new insight that completely challenges their assumptions about their own world.
This is the pivot you're looking for. By teaching them something valuable about their world, you change the dynamic completely. You stop being a salesperson and you become a strategic partner. The whole conversation shifts from a defensive, so what can you do for me, to an intrigued, that's interesting. How does that work? And that leads them right to your solution.
Okay, so you have a solid foundation of understanding. Their perspective is reframed. You've now reached the very peak of the pyramid. Now, and only now, can you start to use these specific tools that are proven to turn that quiet agreement into real, concrete action.
Dr. Robert Cialdini identified several of these incredible psychological levers. The first one is reciprocity. I mean, think about it. When someone does you a favor, you feel this deep internal pull to repay them. In our pyramid, you've already given them the gifts of feeling understood and learning a new insight. That creates a very natural desire for them to give something back.
Another powerful lever is scarcity. We're just wired to want things more when they're limited or when we think we might lose them. Now, this isn't just about limited time offers. It's about clearly explaining the unique value you bring, or maybe more importantly, the cost of not acting. That fear of missing out, it's a very strong driver for change.
All right, now for a tool that's going to seem totally counterintuitive. The word no. We dread hearing it, right? But the most skilled negotiators, they actively seek it out.
Why? Because a no isn't an ending, it's the beginning of the real conversation. It means the other person feels safe enough with you to be honest, and that gives you a crystal clear signal of where the real roadblocks are.
And that brings us to the ultimate source of your power in any negotiation. And spoiler alert, it is not having a rigid bottom line. A bottom line is really just an arbitrary number that can actually blind you to more creative and often much better solutions.
Your real power comes from your BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Just ask yourself this simple question: what will I do if we can't make a deal? The stronger your answer is, the more power you have. It gives you the confidence to walk away from a bad deal. And ironically, that confidence often makes the other side more willing to work with you.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here, from hostage negotiation tactics all the way to sales psychology. So let's pull this all together into a simple, effective toolkit you can start using, well, today.
So here it is, your persuasion pyramid. Start with that foundation, see their world. Focus on their interests, not their positions. Make them feel truly heard. Then you reframe the game. Teach them a new, valuable perspective that highlights a problem only your solution can solve. And finally, know your power. Your strength comes from your BATNA, your power to walk away, which gives you the confidence to negotiate for what you really want.
So, you see, persuasion isn't some dark art. It's really the science of connection. These tools can shift your interactions from confrontation to collaboration. So the next time you enter one of those big conversations, the question isn't just, what will I say? It's, what change will I create?